Well, my experience with art is as being a consultant for our vestry at our Episcopal Church, and that's a management group that runs the facility and decides on the future direction of a lot of the programs and what will be going on. And so we had our priest retire after a number of years, and so a lot of us knew each other that were going to be part of this new management group. And Art came in, and we used his process that he describes in the book, and we just found it incredibly beneficial. Everything from the metaphor of dance, as opposed to just thinking and talking or writing, that kind of action thing that occurs with people, with others, was really an important part of what we did. And the idea that even a large kind of almost labyrinth piece that was laid out on the floor that allowed us to position ourselves within different references that were there, it became the kind of thing that we exposed parts of our own faith journey, and you become a little bit more vulnerable and willing to offer your vulnerability to each other during this kind of process of exchange. So when you go through that and then you start to allow each other to speak, you find that that space between you is really valuable. And as you go forward as a group, that kind of understanding of each other and respect for each other is really important. And I think that the idea that he brought forward was that God is always with us. And when you begin to open yourself up to your colleagues within that kind of space, and you understanding that between you there also lingering and becoming more evident is God, it's a very powerful experience, and it's the kind of thing that unites us in our worship typically. But to see it in a meeting happen as we're discerning the path to take on our strategic planning and calling a new priest was very powerful. And I think the core of that is within that idea of wherever the church is, whether it's a position of grace or some sense of suffering from loss, you find that there's a sense of hope pulling you forward. And whatever the situation is now, you know that those seeds that you bring together, that kind of abundance of hope that's generated from the process that Art outlines, is the kind of thing that lets you move forward together in a very powerful and meaningful way. And so that's what we're experiencing now, almost a year after Art initiated that process with us. Our vestry has withstood without having a priest leader here for over a year. We hopefully are very close to calling a new leader that's based on discerning some of those hopes that we all shared with each other back in those initial meetings. And I think that I would say it's a wonderful process to use, where everyone speaks, everyone is given a voice, and that you find out this voice that is collective between you all gets rid of some of the ego problems that tend to plague all aspects of society, but is critical as a community goes forward together.